All right, term 2, here we go. So we're gonna add fractions. Our fractions need common denominators. So I don't need to change this fraction, I need to change this one. I'm gonna give it a common denominator of 15. So I'm gonna multiply the denominator and the numerator by 3. So this becomes 9/15 plus 7/15, just like that. So now I have my common denominator, 15, that stays the same. 9 plus 7 is 16. This is an improper fraction, so I'm going to turn this into a mixed number. 15 goes into 16 one time with a remainder of 1, and then I keep the same denominator. So 1 and 1/15 is my answer. Multiplying fractions. To multiply fractions, you multiply across your numerators and multiply across your denominators, but holy smokes, these are some big numbers. I'm going to cross simplify. Are there numbers that I can divide by to make these numbers smaller? I'm seeing here, yes. If I divide 35 and 25 by 5, I get 7 and 5. Lovely. If I look at 12 and 48, I can divide those both by 12. So I'm going to divide 12 by 12 and get 1. 48 divided by 12 is 4. So now I can multiply across the top. 1 times 7 is 7. 5 times 4 is 20. And there's my answer. It's already in simplest form. Mixed number stuff. I'm going to use my stacking method. Do you remember this? So, boom, 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 boom. Just like that, separating my fractions and my whole numbers, I need a common denominator. So I'm going to turn this into a fraction where 6 is the denominator. So I've got 4/6 minus 1/6, which is 3/6. And then 11 minus 4 is 7. So I've got 7 and 3/6 is my answer. But remember, we have to write our fractions in simplest form. So 3/6 is the same as 1/2. And there you go. That's your final answer. All right, moving on to dividing fractions. There's this rule, remember? Keep it, change it, flip it, yo. Yeah, okay. So keep it, change it, flip it. So keep it, change the division to multiplication, and we're gonna flip that fraction just like that, okay? So again, you can multiply across. I like to cross simplify, so my answer is in simplest form. I can divide these by 4, and I get this. 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 times 5 is 5. I end up with an improper fraction. So I'm going to write a mixed number. 5 goes into 6 one time with a remainder of 1, and I keep my 5. So 1 and 1/5 is my answer. All right, 3 more fraction problems, BBs. We got this. So again, multiplying really strange looking fractions, I'm going to cross simplify. So I can divide these guys by 11. I get 7 and 5. Looking here, 42 and 84. Let's divide them by 7. When I divide 42 by 7, I get 6. When I divide 84 by 7, I get 12. Oh my goodness, look, I can even simplify 6 and 12. Okay, divide those both by 6. So I'm going to divide 6 by 6 and get 1. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. So wow, there's a whole lot of stuff going on there. So let's just clean that up. So 1/5 times 7/2. So now I just multiply across the top. 1 times 7 is 7, and 5 times 2 is 10. Ta-da! There you go, you have your answer. All right, so 16 times 3/4. In order to multiply this whole number times a fraction, you have to turn it into a fraction. I'm going to turn it into a fraction. Done. Bam. It's a fraction now. 16 over 1 times 3/4. I'm going to cross simplify here. I can divide these both by 4. So I get 1 and 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And 1 times 1 is 1. So what happens when you have an improper fraction that looks like this? Whoops. Why do I even put sound effects in these, like using iMovies? I have the best sound effects already. So your answer is 12. Okay. Keep it, change it, flip it, yo. Keep it, change it, flip it, yo. But we got to turn this whole number into a fraction. So 12 over 1. Keep it, change it, flip it. I'm going to cross simplify. I'm going to divide these both by 4. I get 1 and 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 1 is 1. And there's my answer. Oh my goodness, there's more for term 2. We did so much in term 2. All right, decimal stuff. So 12 minus 33 hundredths. The big thing with decimals is when you add and subtract, you have to line up your place values. So I like to think of it like money. That's really just the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to have to do some borrowing here. I'm going to do that. And there is your answer. All right, 9.2 times 9. We do our multiplication normally, and then we put a decimal in our answer. So there's one decimal or one place value behind the decimal in our problem. So we're going to make the same thing happen in our answer. So final answer is 82 and 8/10. All right, decimal division. I'm putting a star by this. There's absolutely going to be a question like this on your test. Okay, so this is my divisor. It's going to go on the outside, and I'm dividing to see how many times 5/100 goes into 3.5. So you cannot have a decimal in your divisor. We are going to multiply this by 10, 100. So we just have 5, but whatever we do to the divisor, we have to do to the dividend. So I'm going to do the same thing, multiply 100, 10, 100. What happens in this empty space here? I put a 0. So now the problem is, how many times does 5 go into 350? 5 goes into 35 7 times. And then we just have a 0 here for our 10, 70. Answer is 70. All right, so these problems are not on the study guide, just in case you want to do some extra practice. So I'm going to solve these silently, and I'm going to insert some lovely music so you can watch me solve them. All right, that is it for the extra practice. Next video coming up is term 3.